This is Madden 19. I'm the coach.
And we find ourselves at the stadium that played host to Super Bowl 52, the wondrous U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. Today, it's Week 4, and we've got what should be a great one here between the Seattle Seahawks and the Minnesota Vikings. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. So here's the Viking offense making their way out. At a glance here at their quarterback, standing 6'3".
And what's a quarterback's best friend?
Balance?
I think you're right. I agree with you. You know, a lot of guys would say great receiver, right? A terrific offensive line. But I agree with you, balance, because if you can run the ball effectively, that just opens things up for guys who want to throw it and gives you easier passing lanes and easier coverages to read.
And they said balance will be a focus in this one.
Yeah, they don't want it all just heaped on his shoulders, I don't believe. I think they want to make sure they take some of the pressure off. They've got good playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know what happened last week to really hurt their performance and hold down their production, but I would dare say that this week in practice, there's a lot of talk about how they're going to increase their proficiency.
And that was a good start, getting the playmakers involved. You mentioned that to me pregame. That's what they did there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think the coaching staff really gets on them, and that's how they motivate them. Most of these guys are self-motivated. They have a lot of pride in their performance. I think we'll see more of them trying to get him the football out of the backfield. They love what he can do in open space, and they believe that he creates mismatches they can exploit.
Now he'll look to throw here on 2nd and 10. And this time he's got the hook up. It's complete. And he'll work it across midfield inside the 45. These are his numbers from last week's contest. 5 catches, 68 yards, and a touchdown.
And most teams mark down big plays as ones that gain 10 yards or more. He certainly has big playability, and we just saw it on display.
Camaro. And they'll be inside the 35 now at the 34-yard line. It'll be a pickup of 10 yards. And it'll be second and very short. So back-to-back big runs, picking apart this defense on the opening drive.
I thought this was a passing league. I thought this was the era we were in where the ball was always in the air, right?
They didn't get the memo.
They didn't get the memo, and I know this to be true. Offensive linemen still, to this day, they want to run the
touchdown, Vikings! In for the score, and the Vikings have taken a first-quarter lead. You'd have to imagine for a team that's lost 3 straight games, scoring first in this first quarter has to feel pretty good.
That's feels great for them, and also it's a nice signal to the rest of the team, because we talk about complementary football all the time. So they've now signaled to the defense, now signaled to the kicking game, hey, we're here to play in this one. We're going to do our part. Let's see if you guys will do the exact same, and we can break this losing streak.
That's fielded in the end zone. And he'll make it across the 20 as his guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line. Here's Ronald Jones, first carry for the USC man. And he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. Officially no gain on the play, and it's second down.
I know the scouting report on him is that he doesn't possess the eye discipline to be an elite linebacker. And what that means is his ability to read, react, and make a play. But on that one, he looked like one of those guys.
Looking left sideline, it's complete. That goes for a gain of 31.
If the post pattern is often equated as a change-up route, how about when you throw it to your big guy down the center of the field? Covered or not, you have great confidence he's going to come down with the football. And when he does, as we just saw, long gains often result.
He'll look to throw. This one complete to Christian Kirk. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. A really good pickup of 28 yards.
The goal for any offense versus a zone defense, find the holes where guys are available and put the ball on the receiver before any defender can step up and fill it.
They did it well there. Perfectly executed crossing route. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
Now, that's the type of play that'll fire up the defense. Hold them to 1 yard on a first down run. It'll be interesting to see if the offense decides to press the run at all or if they'll abandon it now after gaining only 1 on that play.
All right, here we go. Green.
And they'll go on the ground. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. Give him 6 yards on the carry. It's going to be 3rd and 3 now.
All right, Brandon, I know we're in the early going here, but those kind of runs, they're going to open up a world of opportunities for this offense going forward.
Hurry up, here we go.
They'll try and run for it with Jones. And he picks up the first as he's able to take it down to the 7-yard line. Give him a gain of 4, able to convert, and that sets up 1st and goal now. A stop there on 3rd. They could have held him to 3 on this opening drive. Now they have to bow their necks on 1st and goal.
And if I'm looking at this from the offense's point of view, that's a big-time pickup right there. And I'd go right at him with another momentum play. I'd go quickly and attack them because right now they probably have their heads down a little bit since they didn't stop him on 3rd down. Doubling this guy has to be a priority before moving up to the next level because the big fella, he just ate that one alive, just stuffed it. In fact, before the game, he was talking to us, and he's like, hey, these pants make me look fat. And we said, nah, man, you're just a whole lot of guy.
He is at well over 300 pounds. He's a big man. So stuff for no gain on 2nd down brings up a pretty interesting 3rd from this distance.
I'm throwing the ball, and I'm not even thinking about play pass. I'm going to let them know right away I'm throwing it. But I'm probably giving my quarterback some room, sprint him out to one side or the other, and give him an opportunity. If it breaks down, he can take off and run for it.
The quick slant caught. And he's able to get it down to the 2-yard line. A 4-yard pickup, not enough. 4th down.
Well, we hear so often how tackling has become almost a lost art in the NFL game. But it's so important to tackle well on these receivers, especially in a play like this one. 3rd down, they gave him the underneath stuff. You got to go up and make the tackle right away.
Can this defense hold him out? Here we go now. 4th and goal from the 2. They'll drop the throw. End zone caught. Touchdown, Seattle. Mike Gesicki, his first touchdown on the year. And the Seahawks just an extra point away from tying this thing up. And the QB rating right now is sky high. 4 for 4 on that opening drive, and it ends with a touchdown pass.
Yeah, I don't know quite how to figure it out. I think I need my friends from MIT to come in and help me. But I think 158.3 is the number one.
Yep, that's the
right. That's the highest you can get. That's where he is. He'd like to continue on that pace.
That's fielded in the end zone. And he'll elect not to return this one, so they'll bring it out to the 25 on the touchback. And now out comes Minnesota. And they had to wait a long time to get the football back. Probably not what you were hoping for when you got an offense that's humming.
Agreed. What you were looking for is the defense getting the ball back pretty quickly, right? Hoping for a 3 and out. So that didn't happen. You can't yell at your D for that. They've got to take care of their own business and reestablish themselves now that they're back on the field.
And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. Now whistles and a timeout. Looks like we've got a Viking slow to get up. While the training staff takes a peek, we'll take a break. Well, they had the run for no gain. Now they'll try again from the 25 on 2nd and 10.
Let's go. 3-19.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he is going to lose yardage here. It'll go as a loss of a yard, and it'll set up 3rd down.
Well, that play was over before it even got started. Thanks for nothing, huh? How about that? That sets up a very difficult 3rd down call now.
Set. Blue 90. Blue 90.
He'll drop to throw. Able to shake him off. And he gets this up just shy of the 30 to the 29 before he's out of bounds. Call it a gain of 5, and that'll bring up 4th down. Boy, the evolution of the game and how these guys on plays like that can get out of the pocket, keep plays alive, it just makes things so much harder for defenses.
It really does, and we're talking about an era in the game where the quarterbacks are the most athletically gifted that we've seen in a bunch. I mean, when you talk about collectively, it's unbelievable. So their ability to move is practiced now. It's not necessarily, oh, he just took off and you guys figure it out. When he takes off, everyone knows where to go now. They know how to run routes, change things, make themselves presentable for the quarterback. That's a lot of time that they put in on it. It's not just your static 1, 2, 3. This is where the ball goes anymore.
The numbers for Jones last week, very, very strong, well over 100 yards.
He should get the ball early and often here, too. I mean, when you're riding the performance of last week into this game, his confidence level has to be off the charts. Go ahead and keep feeding him.
Running game working. They'll stick with it on first down. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair.
Anytime you call an inside running play, you just know there should be a lot of congestion there. You're counting on your offensive line to take control of the line of scrimmage. That didn't happen in this case.
Alongside my broadcast partner, Charles Davis, Brandon Gaudin hits the Seahawks with a football to begin quarter number 2. But they face a second and long to start things out.
Hurry up, here we go.
They'll set up to throw. He's got his man on the crossing route. A good pickup there, 26 yards.
It's a game of matchups, and that's why you take your receivers and move them around a bunch, especially your best guys. And when they work out of the slot, you often hear the coaches talk about how great it is because it gives you a two-way gun. You can break out or you can break in. That makes it hard to defend.
Going for the deep ball. So they took a shot on first down but couldn't connect.
But depending on the team, they call that an explosive play or a chunk play, the one that they got on the previous one. They tried to go back and get another one, didn't they?
They did, but unsuccessful on that second attempt. They're going to look to throw. Throwing left side, it's complete. And he takes this one down almost all the way to the 30. And a nice gain of 21 yards. Now that tight end position, it just seems to continue to evolve every year in the NFL.
Yeah, you're getting really terrific athletes. A lot of them maybe were wide receivers at one point. They continue to give you speed, great hands, and big bodies, which make them excellent targets for quarterbacks.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's going to take this one down to the 25. 7 yards on the pickup there, and it'll leave him with a 2nd and 3.
That play wasn't quite as big as the play that preceded it, but still, got to like the way they're moving the football, partner.
Absolutely. Pretty good room to run on that last play.
Yeah, they didn't get a first down, but still, you'll take runs like that each and every time, won't you?
Detroit!
They'll run it now out of the gun. And not much of a hole there as he gets it down to about the 24-yard line. Give him a yard on the run there, and that's going to set up a 3rd down and 2.
Well, how about the big guy there showing some agility? He just flowed from his D-tackle position in order to make that play.
And the Vikings with an extra defender in the secondary on 3rd.
Playing coverage here.
Now let's go. Green 39. Green.
Over the middle, hauled in by Shark. And he'll be brought down at the 21, just shy of the 20 in the red zone. 2 yards is all they'll get on the completion. It's 4th down.
They didn't get the first down, but I have to say I do like the call. I like what they were trying to do. Try and hit your receiver on the run and see if he can pick it up, keep it on his feet, get a little rack yardage.
Yeah, but a nice job defensively to get to him and keep him short of the first. And he'll be touched out here, but not before he does pick up the first. They only needed a few inches, and they didn't get much more than that, but by about the width of a shoelace, they convert on 4th down.
For those vertically challenged quarterbacks, here's a time where they will tell you it's an advantage to be a little bit on the smaller side, able to duck in behind their offensive line and stick the ball across the imaginary yellow line for a first down.
They'll run it now out of the gun, and he stopped immediately there. No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd down.
Early down stuff will put this offense in a precarious position. We know that securing the point of attack, especially against the big-bodied guys in the middle of this D, has got to be priority 1.
Set. Blue line.
Yeah, he's got it. And he is in for the Seattle touchdown. Christian Kirk, his third touchdown now on the year. And the Seahawks are able to strike for 6.
When we draw up defenses on the board, we do account for every receiver. But on that particular play, somehow he was wide open, became an easy touchdown pass.
Extra point splits the uprights, and that makes the score 14-7. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. And now out comes Minnesota, and hoping to do better than they did their last possession when they punted the football.
Appeal to the vanity of your offensive line. Tell them that they control your fate. Leverage guys. Win the line of scrimmage. If you do that, you start to win first down. You win second down. And guess what? You start accumulating first downs, and that's what they need in order to not punt the ball again.
Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9.
They'd love to just strike back with a touchdown right here, and if it's a long play, so be it. But the main goal, get a couple of first downs, run some plays, run some clock, allow their defense to get a chance to catch their breath, settle down, and relax a little bit after they just gave up a score.
Bust through the tackle. Throw left side complete. It's Alexander, and he'll be brought down right at the 30 here. 4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a 3rd down. Cool under pressure right there, escaping the pocket and finding what I think was not his primary target.
And some of these guys are just so comfortable getting outside of the pocket that they'll do it on purpose. It doesn't even need to be a breakdown. They move, and they know it affects the defense, because a lot of times you get lost in coverage in the secondary, and I think you're exactly right. Wasn't his primary target. Found a secondary guy who sprang open, probably because of his movement out of the pocket.
Officially, 1:54 to go in this first half. More from Minneapolis after this. And we'll remind you that coming up at halftime, we'll join Jonathan Coachman and the gang in Orlando. Coach will have stats and scores from the early games going on here around the NFL. From the shotgun, he'll look to throw. Toward the pylon, caught. And he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota. Stephon Diggs, his 2nd touchdown on the season. And the Vikings are an extra point away from tying this thing up. And now we're all even. Brand new ball game, tie game.
In a sense, you're starting over. Tie ball game, everyone's back to even, back to equal. A good job getting back in it.
A nice, tidy little drive there, getting the ball in excellent field position, and only one play to score it. That'll be taken in the end zone. And he's up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. And Seattle now ready to march out of the field. And right now they're saying, hey, let's keep this going. 2 drives, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, can't ask for a better start than that, can you? I mean, this is the way you practice it. This is the way you rehearse it. But right now, the play calling, they're locked in really well.
Meanwhile, they take a shot to start the drive, but this is going to wind up incomplete. Just his 2nd incompletion so far. He's 8 for 10. I think he'll take 80%.
There's no doubt that he will, but if you're the defensive play caller, you better circle what you just dialed up on your play sheet and come back to it, because you just caused an incompletion. You need a few more of those.
Wide open receiver complete. A gain of 39 that time.
That crossing route is so effective when you hit it just right, because you get a guy on the move, and then we see the end result there.
Nightmare for the defense. They got a guy with a full head of steam.
Not only does he catch it, but he picks up additional yardage after it.
They'll look to throw here on first down. He's going to air one it, and this is taken in at the 5. They give him a gain of 37.
You know I'm going to lean towards the defender, right? You know I'm going to do that.
I know.
That's a tough situation for him as I see it. But the truth of the matter is, that ball was not streaking towards him. Had a little arc on it. He's got to find a way to get his head around and make a play on the football.
Two big plays in succession. Not sure this D knows what hit him, but now they got to get ready. It's 1st and goal.
Now let's go.
They'll try and run it in with Jones. And he will take this one in for the Seattle touchdown. Ronald Jones, his 2nd touchdown on the season. And the Seahawks are going to take the lead.
And that touchdown gives them a touchdown lead before they attempt the extra point. What a great way to end the half.
Yeah, great job to put themselves in front. And now, see on the sideline, special teams defense scrambling, saying we want to preserve this for the final moments of this 2nd quarter. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. And now out comes Minnesota. And what do you think goes on here in this situation? If you got the football, you're trailing, you're back in your own territory with just a little time. Do you try something?
You're thinking about jump-starting your team, right? You just mentioned it. They're down. They're trying to get back into the game. But you got to figure, if something goes wrong, you may have put yourself in a spot where you may not be able to come back in the 2nd half. Managing risk, this is a big decision here.
Hurry up, here we go. Green 39. Green 39.
Out of the gun, they'll look to throw. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up 3rd down.
That's very well timed there defensively because it's not a bad throw, but the collision came at the exact time he was reaching to bring in the football. Really, really well done.
Decent offense, just better defense. I think you're right. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. And now before this 1st down play, we're going to get a timeout here, as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the 1st half. This quarterback now 9 of 11 passing in this 1st half. He's got his guys at 1st and 10. Now we've got movement up front, and I think this is going to be on Minnesota.
False start, offense.
Expect this from the visiting team when playing indoors, but not the home team.
They're supposed to get all the advantages, right? The home crowd's supposed to help them. They forgot where they were, perhaps.
The false start backs them up 5, 1st and 15.
Now let's go.
They'll look to throw again. And it's a short one here, complete to the tight end. And he'll get it out to midfield. They'll spot it right at midfield at the 50. They'll give him a yard on the play, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 14. They'll look to throw. And he's got his man on the out route. And he'll take it down shy of the 45 at the 46. 4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a 3rd down. They'll look to throw here. He's got it complete to Diggs, right side. And he goes down, but not before getting this inside the 25. Now a signal and a timeout call, as it comes with 9 seconds to go in this 1st half of play. So even though it's 1st down, here's the field goal unit on now to try to get 3 before halftime. From the right hash, it's a 41-yard attempt. Carlson able to put this one through, and that'll bring him back within 4. So the 3 points here, they're still down, but they put somewhat of a dent into that lead going into the break.
Anything helps when you're trying to chip away at a lead, but they do know that they're going to need a little bit better effort in the 2nd half.
This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And he's able to get it across the 20, but not by much, as he's marked down at the 21-yard line. Final play of the 1st half, barring a penalty, as they come up on 1st and 10.
Hurry up, here we go.
They'll throw now on the final play. He goes full extension, and he's got it. So we've come upon halftime with the visiting Seahawks. All right, folks, eager to get back to this Week 4 matchup. We won't put up a fight. It's been a shootout so far. We'll see which defense can make the adjustments as we get back underway in the 2nd half. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes. Here come the Seahawks now, set to take over on offense. They have the lead. Now they'll be looking for some separation here as we begin the third quarter.
I like the way you term that, because now I think they go a little bit deeper into their playbook. They like what they did in the first half. That worked okay. But in order to get the separation that you just talked about, change things up a little bit. Change your tendencies. Try and hit them a little bit more with some things they didn't see in the first half.
Let's see if they do just that. They'll run it now out of the gun. He takes this from the 30 to the 34.
They're trying to show that they can run the ball, protect this lead. Give it to the backs, play a little bit of keep away, don't you think?
And that's probably a good philosophy at this point, going to make that defense stand up and stop them. On third down, here's Jones. And he'll get this only up to about the 35. Only a yard on the pickup there, and it's going to leave him with a fourth down.
But we just saw a great example of what we talked about with his coach prior to the game. He's definitely one of the better linebackers at reading the play and flowing to make the stop before it turns into something big.
All right, here we go. Green, 39.
They'll go with a keeper. And able to follow his center and pick up the first. They only needed a few inches, but still some anxious moments there, but they do convert on fourth.
But when it's 4th and inches, shouldn't you pick up the first down? I mean, shouldn't you go for it? I mean, if you can't get inches, right, why are you playing?
And on inches, that's your favorite play, right? Don't mess with handing it off. Just go ahead and get the surge and go right up the gut.
Exactly. Create that. Just a little bit of space should get it done. You're almost able to take the snap and just fall down and pick it up. They got it there.
And he's going to be stopped up quickly here. Just a yard up to the 39.
This drive is pretty clear. Almost feels like old school fundamentals, doesn't it? Want to impose their will on the defense. Was that 5 straight runs?
Yeah, 5 straight carries to start this drive. And like you said, the way it's working, they may just stick with it. Now back to throw. And he fires one that's intercepted. Desmond King picks it. And he's able to get it back here to the 43-yard line. Maybe he telegraphed it a little bit right there. You've got a quarterback knowing that he's going against a rookie quarterback. He stepped in and picked it.
You think he had a great week of preparation, looking forward to this opportunity? And the second part of that is, when you're a young quarterback, you are going to stare down targets, but oftentimes your playbook hasn't expanded to give you full field reads as well. Makes it a little bit tougher for him.
Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll be second down.
I call that play a success. A nice inside run sets up a very manageable second down. A very solid gain on that play.
And they'll go with the ground attack here. And he'll get 4 here down to the 35-yard line.
And that's one of the reasons you like to blitz even on rundowns. It confuses the blocking assignments. It doesn't allow those offensive linemen to get up to the second level.
Now let's go.
And that play went nowhere. Losing yardage. It'll be back at the 36. He lost 2, and it brings up 4th.
Well, that's the big Drawback to this play. Even if somehow the quarterback pitches it, he's not immune to the big hit. In this case, he kept it and absorbed it anyway.
The kick by Carlson is good, and that'll bring him back within a point. So a decent drive there to start the third quarter. They only salvaged 3 out of it, but they inch a bit closer.
Yeah, but still lots of time to go in this one. That's why you hear that clapping on the sidelines, right? Hey, got some points. As you said, inching their way back in. Time left to go out and get that victory.
The Seahawks offense now, they get ready to head back onto the field. And following the interception, just any interception, are you a little bit more cautious when you start that next drive, or no, you just throw that out the window?
I think you are. I don't think that there's any way you can run back out there and go, totally didn't affect me. Let's just go ahead and be loose with the football again. You're going to take care of it, but you have to be careful about being too cautious because now you can't run any offense at all.
Still want to attack. We'll see how they attack them here.
It's always a battle. Who's going to win on first down, the offense or the defense? Let's face it, if you've got the ball, 4 yards or more on first down is what you're aiming for. They tried to throw for it there. Nice effort to knock that one away and bring up second down.
Another throw on second down, and this one incomplete as well. Big play coming up. Here's 3rd and 10.
I would expect to see some pressure here.
Here we go now.
The pressure drops off as they'll look to throw. And able to find Kirk complete. And he'll get this one way up just shy of the 45-yard line. Now we're going to get a timeout here as it looks like there's a Seahawk injured on the play. Well, he gets attended to. We'll step aside. This quarterback now 12 of 17 through the air as he leads his guys up on first down.
Set. 3-19. 3-19.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he is going to lose yardage here. It's a loss of a yard there, and now second down.
I think it's pretty evident we can say what a difference a week makes. Last week, he ran pretty much wild, didn't he? Did pretty much what he wanted to do. But this one, they've stopped him cold. That, to me, that's good scouting and even better execution.
Yeah, and they stopped him behind the line right there. They obviously watched the tape a few times and made some adjustments.
Set. Green.
They'll set up a throw. Shark's got it left side. And all the way in, touchdown Seattle. DJ Chark, his 4th touchdown on the year. And the Seahawks add on to their lead.
And remember, partner, that's a rookie quarterback back there. Apparently, he's getting the hang of this NFL thing pretty quickly.
Had 3 touchdown passes. You're right, he looks comfortable. What are they doing? Anything in particular?
Well, they keep talking about making sure they're giving him plays that fit his talents and also maybe shrinking the playbook a little bit. They did tell us that. Bottom line, he's really good.
This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. And now out comes Minnesota. And fortunate to get points on the board last time. They had to hit a really long field goal to do so.
The kickers in today's game are so good and so skilled and hit from distances that we almost start to take them for granted. And we can't do that. That's a long field goal that they got 3 points out of. They've got to feel good about that. And they better make sure they love him up because he's helped them out.
Yeah, now we'll see if that offense can put 6 on the board here. We'll see.
Face mask. Defense.
Officials so cognizant of that call nowadays, but that one looked pretty easy.
Yeah, you're right. They took out of their hands having to wonder whether it's a 5-yard or a 15-yard, inadvertent or not. Now, it's a lot easier. You see it, you call it.
Here we go now. Blue Lightning.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And they're well past midfield, just a yard or 2 shy of the 40. Give them 13 yards on the opening play of the drive and also give them a first down.
At this stage of the game, the run-pass numbers are a little bit out of whack because most of their yardage has come through the air. But in a sense, that just sets things up for big runs like that because the defense might be a little bit off balance. They pick up another first down with that run.
And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. In on the stop, it was Travarius Moore.
Brandon, all things considered, they have to feel pretty good about getting that type of a gain considering the blitz that they just had against them.
All right,
shotgun snap as they'll look to throw. It's a short one here, complete to his tight end. And here he'll be brought down a little shy of the 35 at the 36. That throw good for only a couple. It brings up third down.
And, partner, I think that's a great example that not all tight ends are created equal. Because everything was right. Got the completion, but he's not one of the more dynamic guys in the league. So even though he caught it, couldn't turn it into much more.
And he's going to get it down to the 33-yard line here. They get only 4 that time as that leads us to a fourth down.
Good throw, good catch, but I really like the route. The drag and being able to run away from defenders, hard to stick with them for that long.
Yeah, better against man than zone, or?
Better against man, because now you're running away from someone and you're not running into a defensive player in another zone.
He's got 9 points on field goals now. He's made 3 of them. That gets him a bit closer, but there's no question they need to start turning some of these threes into sixes.
And for him, it's not his concern, right? He just goes out there when they call on him and goes ahead and puts points up on the board. But the offense has got to get together and figure out what's stalling their drives, so they have to keep calling on him.
As Seattle now ready to march onto the field. And for them, a touchdown their last go-around. Obviously, they'll be hoping to do that again.
And when you start plotting for this drive, when you start thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? You don't go away from what you did before because that worked. But you have to be prepared for wrinkles and counters because you know they'll make some adjustments.
And he's going to lose yardage here. Back to his own 18. A big loss there of 9 yards on the play. And it'll make this a 2nd and long.
Well, anytime it's a toss or a pitch play, it's a battle for the edges. Who's going to control the edge of the line of scrimmage? In other words, can the defensive guys hold their leverage? What we were always taught was keep your outside arm or outside shoulder free. If you were playing on the play side, meaning the ball coming towards you, and anyone coming from the backside, they're pinching down and sliding down towards it to try and keep people kind of locked into one spot. And, boy, what a great defensive play there. Worn out leverage, running to the football from the inside out, turned into a big loss of yardage.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. Steps away to his, and he is going to be taken down. And that should be the final play of this third quarter. Yannick Ngakoue. The Seahawks send out their punter as his first punt will come from inside his own end zone. .51 yards on the punt there. And the Vikings will take over here 1st and 10. Now the Vikings offense gets set to take over here. And last time able to get 3. It's not what they wanted. They wanted 6, but they got at least something. They mustered something out of the drive.
They'll take it. Just, I like the way you've described it. Not ideal, but they'll take it. Anything to put some points on the...
Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Picked by Tarvarius Moore. And they'll set up shop in enemy territory at the 45-yard line.
And, Brandon, this is a real nice job defensively of getting inside a quarterback's head and figuring out, okay, where's he going with the football? Because you can make an educated guess defensively. Not all the time, but sometimes. And when you're right, you've got a decent chance of coming away with the football.
They'll run it now out of the gun. Oh, no, he lost the football.
Wow, that ball gets knocked free, but a teammate comes along and scoops it up. It's almost like baseball. Guys at bat, people are on base in scoring position. One guy doesn't get him home. The next guy comes through and picks him up.
And avoids the turnover. Now a play fake here on 1st down. Wide open receiver complete. And he will score. Touchdown, Seattle. As his guys are in for 6. And the interception by the Seahawks D leads to a touchdown.
So whatever happened to rookie quarterbacks taking time to adjust to life in the NFL? Because this guy looks like he's been doing it for about, 7 years? 4 touchdown passes? That's not something rookies are supposed to be doing with the ease in which he's doing it.
Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. That'll be taken in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Now out comes their leader and the captain of this offense back onto the field. With his guys trailing here in the fourth, he can ill afford a repeat of the interception that ended the last drive.
Yeah, you're 2 scores down. You take it upon yourself now to play perfect or near-perfect football if you want to get your team back into the game. But it's also tough to do when you're trying to avoid errors, yet still play perfect football.
Throwing to start the drive, but that one incomplete.
What's the old adage? Be quick, but don't hurry. Well, that went right out the window there. He was hurried, harassed. That ball had to be gotten rid of, otherwise he was going to get sacked.
Hurry up, here we go.
Back to throw. And a big loss here as he's taken down. Chalk that up as their first sack in this game, and they tallied 4 a week ago.
And probably not as much exultation in that sack as what took us so long. Because when you get 4 the previous week, you're counting on continuing that momentum. They didn't get that done in the first half of the game. Let's see now if they start to bring even more exotic pressure towards the quarterback.
They stop him for only 3 that time, and that'll bring up 4th down. Did they maybe play that too safely on 3rd down? I know you don't want to just throw a ball blindly downfield, but that didn't help them a whole lot.
I think they probably said if it's open, take the shot. If not, get something safe because we do have 4th down to try and pick it up.
All right, they're going to try and keep hope alive here on 4th down. They're going for it. Got to try it here. He's back to throw. Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Picked up by Mike Hughes. And he'll return it to the 24-yard line. Both defenses have had their struggles, but they've been good enough to get them this lead, and another nice play there to help preserve the lead.
It's been a game of punch-counter-punch, hasn't it? All throughout. But this time, the big swing was taken, and it didn't land. Nice play by them on defense.
Detroit!
They'll come out throwing here on 1st down. That's going to go as a loss of 4, and it'll be 2nd down.
Hurry up, here we go. Green.
He'll look to throw. Toward the sideline, and look at that catch. Dragging the toes, and that's going to be a 1st down. Well done. A very solid gain of 27.
When you have someone throwing it that well, that confidently, you don't have to call the game in fear at all, do you? You just go ahead and play.
Yep, confidence with a lead to throw it here in the 4th, and boom, he's on the money.
Yeah, you don't have to tuck your head in and go like turtle at this point. You can just go ahead and play.
A good chance now to put this game on ice. This is 1st and goal. It's a quarterback sneak, and he's across the chalk into the end zone. Touchdown, Seahawks. It's their quarterback scoring on the sneak from a yard out. And the Seahawks capitalize on the short field as they take it in for 6. Extra point right down the middle. And the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Here comes the field general leading his offense back out there for the next possession. And that interception that ended their previous drive likely also ended any shot they had at victory.
Yeah, long road back from here, no doubt about that one, but let's face it, if you're going to go out there and compete, you want to try and end on a strong note, don't you?
Absolutely. It won't end in a victory like you said, but they can maybe take something positive out of this one. Going right side here, and that's complete. And he's taken down, but able to slip across the 35. Solid way to start the drive. 13 yards, picking up the 1st. Decent start to the drive, but let's face it, they need a lot of things to go right in a short amount of time, down 3 scores.
Yeah, they're going to run their 2-minute offense here in this game, but this is for future games. Can they get better and be ready for the next time, hopefully with a chance to win?
Left side caught by Diggs. 20, 10, touchdown, Vikings. Stephon Diggs, his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon. And the Vikings are able to cut into that deficit.
Well, if you've got him in your fantasy league, you like his production, his second touchdown of the game. But right now, his team is trailing. Fortunately, he's playing pretty well and trying to keep him in it.
Yeah, they might need a little more from him here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they continue to call his number. Right now, he needs his defense to step up and give him a chance.
And the Seahawks, looks like they've recovered. They have. Well, fourth quarter, they felt like they needed the football back. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it.
And I know we've brought analytics into the game, and someone has said here that the data says that when a team's expecting an onside kick, 80% of the time, the team expecting it, they do actually recover the ball, which is what we saw here. I just wonder if that number is much more of a anecdotal type of a number. Kind of like when the coaches tell us, well, when you score on special teams, 93% of the time you win the game. I'm still waiting to see that number is empirical.
All right, here we go.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. No gain on the play there. Second down. And when do they start thinking about burning these timeouts? They've got all three still defensively.
To me, you have to start right now. Here's the time, and that means you've got to stop them on defense, not give up the yardage, use your timeouts in order to get the ball back and try and score yourself. But now is the time to start using those timeouts.
And keep in mind, it'll also stop the clock at the 2-minute warning. And down to the 36-yard line here. And he's able to get most of what he needed on the carry there. 7 yards on the gain, and it's 3rd and 2 now.
Bottom line, they want to keep this clock rolling, so they'll take that one right there. They just want to keep falling forward, and they want to put the onus on the big fellas up front in order to bring this one home.
On 3rd down, that's Jones. No gain there on the play, and that's going to leave him with a 4th down. Time for a break. We're back to finish this one off after this. So it's Seahawk football as we march toward a conclusion. They've got a 4th down here in a game that looks to have been decided already. They'll go with Jones. And he gets it to the 32. Good enough for a 1st down. And now right out of the 2-minute break, we'll get a timeout used defensively with 1:56 to go. And not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10.
Now let's go.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. And whistles, and we're going to have another stoppage of play as they call the timeout on defense with 1:53 left. So they come up on 2nd down. If they can get another run like we just saw, would likely put an end to this thing.
Here we go.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll be brought down at the 21, just shy of the 20 in the red zone. The Vikings going to use their 3rd and final timeout. And they'll be disappointed to have to burn one there after giving up the 1st down. All runs on this drive so far. It's 1st and 10. And they'll go ground game here with a tailback. He's to the 10. And finally down at the 9-yard line. It's a nice pickup of 12 yards, and it gives him a 1st and goal.
He's still rumbling, isn't he? Still looking fresh in this one despite the heavy workload. But you and I both know, well-conditioned, and he did tell us that he thrives on being at his peak late in ball games.
They'll try and run for it on 1st and goal. And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. 5 yards, a good run there, and now 2nd and goal. Able to stay in bounds, so the clock keeps rolling. And this defense right now backed up in the red zone. Another touchdown, it's over. They've got to stand tall quickly.
Been in this spot before. Now there's a little bit of desperation creeping in, and all you're doing when you're talking to your defensive teammates is, first guy there, hold him up. Second, third guy in, rake at the football. Get it out. We've got to create a turnover because one more score, and this game's over.
And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. They'll wind up losing 3 yards here. And that's going to bring up an interesting 3rd and goal. throw here. This will be caught at about the 5. And he is in for the Seattle touchdown. DJ Chark with his second touchdown of the afternoon. And the Seahawks find a way to stretch their lead. I tell you, Charles, you play to the final whistle, I get that, but there are a few folks that might not be too happy with that score late in the game with it already well in hand.
You seem a little squeamish about that last score.
I struggle with it. I struggle. But on the other, the argument, I get it, on the other side is, hey, do something about it. Stop them.
I guarantee you, I know who was really excited. Fantasy owners who had them. Hey, listen, get the points for me. They're not worried about hurt feelings or anything like that. That's just new age stuff.
The Vikings offense now, they get ready to head back on the field. They're down big here late. I don't know. You just one last drive here for pride?
Some people like to do that. I remember playing for a guy once. We were down huge, and someone said, Coach, what do you want to call? He just waved a hand like, who cares? Let's get out of here and do something.
And the Seahawk defense gets to him, and they bring him down. And now the Seahawks are going to take a timeout here on defense. It's just their first. They've got 2 more to use here in the final stages.
Now let's go. Blue 90. Blue 90.
Now they'll throw here out of the gun. And Diggs has it. Now the Seahawks call the second of their 3 timeouts. That'll leave them with just 1 remaining in this 4th quarter of play.
All right, here we go. Blue 90.
He'll look to throw. And he's going to be intercepted a 3rd time. Picked off near the 44. And they'll take over inside the 45 at the 44-yard line.
Well, this defensive pressure has been constant all game long. The pass rush, the coverage, they've all been excellent, and now they'll tack on an interception here as this one continues to slip just further and further out of hand.
All right, here we go. Blue 90.
That one looks like he'll throw here. He's got a man. That's caught. Left sideline. And now we'll get a timeout here. They're able to stop it with 1 second to go in this game. Oh, now look at this. They're lining up to add 3 more, a little insult to injury here late in the game. This just a 35-yard attempt from the left hash. Well, Charles, it's one thing to win. It's another thing to win and put up the amount of points that they did. Boy, were they clicking on offense.
They can't help but feel great